It's the Honourable Member for Courtenay-Alberni.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank my colleague. There's many things that he said in his speech that I was interested in, but one thing that he didn't talk about is the wild salmon emergency in British Columbia. Mr. Speaker, we just had the lowest return of wild Pacific sockeye salmon in the largest salmon-bearing river in the world. And Mr. Speaker, it was after last year, which was the lowest return. And we didn't hear anything in this fall economic statement outside of Big Bar to help remedy that situation and the many other watersheds that are facing the same thing. We are in a wild salmon emergency, and we can't even get the minister to declare a wild salmon emergency, Mr. Speaker. We didn't see any new investments. We're hearing that the $148 million BC Salmon Restoration Fund is a drop in the bucket. Advocates are saying that that's over 5 years, and in fact, we need that every year for the next 5 years if we're going to make any impact on saving wild Pacific salmon, which is critical to our food security, our culture, our economy, and our way of life, especially for Indigenous people. Is my colleague going to be advocating for his government to invest heavily in emergency funding for wild Pacific salmon in the upcoming budget?
Or West Vancouver Sunshine Coast, Sea to Sky Country.
Well, I'd like to thank my honourable colleague for his question, and I very much share his concern about the plight of wild Pacific salmon. And one of the measures he mentioned in his comment, the permanent funding to have the passage for fish in Big Bar is a very, very important step, but it is one of many, many important steps that we need to take to restore our salmon stocks across the province here, and this is going to take a very wide-ranging efforts to rehabilitate habitat. So that we can restore the species, which is very much iconic to all British Columbians. And I can assure the member opposite that this is very much a priority for myself, for our caucus in British Columbia, and for this government. And I look forward to working with my colleagues on advancing some important measures that are going to make progress in addressing this really, really important area.
Resuming debate.